Good afternoon, Stampers. Welcome. How are you? My name is Judy Anderson, and I'm an independent demonstrator from the United States. Diane and I collaborate each week and do lives and bring you guys some fun projects once a week. So this week we are collaborating on the last chance list. And, I was thinking, there's some things I wanted to do yet. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, this catalog is almost done already. So I've been wanting to do this little project today. I hope it's going to probably take a little bit longer than normal. So please bear with me. I will try to hurry it up when I can. I've done some die cutting and stuff to make things a little bit quicker. So if you're watching me on Facebook, whether it's on my page or Diane's, give us the thumbs up and hearts if you're loving things. Make sure you grant StreamYard permission so I can see your comments. Hello, Peggy. Let me know where you're coming from. I don't always get to see all the comments, but I will go back, at least on my page, and answer your questions, and Diane will answer those on her page. If you're watching me on my YouTube channel, welcome, welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And so what do you say? Let's get started. So I'm going to flip this around. I'm not using my phone today because that was giving us some feedback, and I don't like feedback. So with just a quick change like that, you guys can see there's no glare. We're great for a change. So my suite is the Gingerbread and Peppermint Suite, found on page 8 and 9 of the catalog, the J to D catalog. I'm going to be using the bundle, the stamp set, and the dies. I'm also going to be using the designer series paper. And I'm going to be using an assortment of items from our annual catalog because I needed just some extra stuff, and you'll see when you see this. And then I am also going to show you guys the inspiration behind it. So here's the frosted gingerbread. We're actually going to use this snowflake right here image, and I also used the die, the outside of the snowflake. And then I used some of the little circles. I was needing to cut some circles in the middle of my cardstock, and the 1/4 inch wasn't quite big enough. And you get 2 of these little circles on here, which is great because we can cut 2 at one time. And then these all cut the different peppermint patties, whether you stamp them or use it from the designer series paper. Now today I did use some from the designer series paper. Let me put these back in my little tray so I don't lose them. And what I did is I went through the papers, and you will see in the papers different little peppermint and shapes in here. Oh yeah, these are all going to be just about the same. So I went through and I punched a bunch of them. You'll find like on the trees along this edge. Now I did use some of the dies to cut some of them out, and then I used some punches like this one here. Oh my gosh, I have a 1/8 inch handheld punch, and that punched those out. And you'll find some of those images also in the papers. I'm trying to see here. I used some of these. I may have used them all up. In fact, I bought another 2 packs of this paper just because I love it so much. So I went through and I cut a bunch of those. And when I did that, I even die cut them from the sides. Like this one is cut off. You will see I actually used a 1/2 inch punch and punched out the center, and it's not quite centered, but it's okay. I stamped some on my own, and I think that this project would be so adorable in like our pinks also, and our granny apple green. I think that the magenta madness, it would be so much fun to do this in different colors, just candy colors. But I wanted to use the designer series paper. So we're going to do some stamping first. I'm going to pull out my Stamparatus, and I am going to mount this here, and I always mount it towards the outside. I will go ahead and use my cinnamon cider. Now, I know when you guys are watching this, sometimes I do projects that are what I call piddly projects. So, and what I mean by piddly projects is they're just like little tiny steps, and, just steps that you can do more and more creating. And I'm not going to do as much on this today. And, after the fact, I thought, ooh, I want to make sure that that's on. Yep. Okay. We're going to stamp 2 of the snowflakes. So I have those die cut already, but I want to put this. Oh, okay. That's not going to quite fit. So let me take my paper snips. So this is not going to be a project that you want to do if you're in a big hurry, but I think this would be such a fun project. How many of you make gingerbread houses with either your children, the grandchildren, the neighbors' kids, or, we do an adult one sometimes. It's a lot of fun to see what the adults come up with, and they think that, oh, this is like kids play. But then they start putting it together and discover that, you know what, it's not as easy as it looks, right? And I know the other day I was talking to some friends, and they said, you know what, how about if we use hot glue to put our gingerbread houses together this year? I just want to make sure that that is okay. It is on there where I want it. So I'm going to put my die in there, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp it. I just wanted to double check because I hadn't secured that down. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a wonderful idea, because how many of you go and put your gingerbread houses together with the frosting and they fall all over the place, as you start building upon it, and I don't know, it just sometimes becomes a mess. Oh, that didn't stamp very good. Let's try this again. I'm just going to rub it. I've got extra of these just in case. Rub it really good. I'm talking and I'm going to get a different die. Flip that one to the side. That's okay. I need to talk less. Right? Oh my gosh. So I thought that was a great idea. So if you do gingerbread houses, and when we do ours, we do a timed one. And everybody has a little bit different candies and stuff. And it's so much fun. Why is this not stamping? Oh my gosh, I never have a problem. Okay, I am live, so that is why. I cannot believe this. Got my mat underneath. Okay, one more try. Maybe I should have stamped these first, right? No. So, sorry about that. We're not getting even past stamping today. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's press this really good. Sure it's good and on there. I have made so many of these snowflakes already. There we go. So there's one. Can we get 2? Let's see. So yeah, so that's an idea for you. But you could also pre-cut pieces for this and let them do the stamping and the creating, and they could make a gingerbread tree. And you'll see, I mean, I'm going to show you that you're going to want to watch to the end, because you're going to want to see my inspiration. These are some these are actually one of my Christmas trees that I have in my house. We live in a very, very small house. We do not have room for a tree, and we don't have end tables even. So I'm going to put that upside. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm live. I've got the jinx today. Okay. Oh my gosh. Diane had trouble with her lighting yesterday, and Judy is just having simple stamping. Good thing this is the only thing I'm stamping today. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. And I am pressing hard on this, so it should transfer. Okay, that one did much, much better. Whew! Got that done and out of the way, right? So we have those two. And in the center of one of these, I am going to put this little peppermint patty. I am going to grab my Stampin' Dimensional for it. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. So we're going to be doing parts to begin with. And then we're going to put this all together. And I'm going to warn you, I am using a power tool today. Okay, when I get to one part, I told my husband, I says, I can't cut through this with my thin die because we're using some thick chipboard. And I said, so I need you to go outside and get my drill. And he looked at me. He says, what? He says, well, what are you doing down there? I says, no, it's just for a project. I says, go get me a drill and get me a bit that's about this size. So he went out there and he came in. He goes, now, what do you need this for? And I showed him. He says, oh, he says, is that going to work? I says, I hope so, because I'm doing a live and I haven't done this yet. So we're just going to place that in the center. Then I want to use some of our shimmery crystal effects. Now this has a little bit of glitter in it. I normally would probably use glitter, but we don't have our dazzling diamonds. So we go to the next best thing. So this is going to leave this shiny, and it's going to have some sparkles in it, and we want it to dry. So that's why I'm doing this first and hoping that it's going to be dry enough in the end. So you can you tell that it's kind of shiny? So Murphy's Law, yeah. So we're going to set these over where I can find them. And if I say, oh, where did I put them? Just tell me I put them on my ledge. Okay. Our next process is I'm going to go ahead and keep this out, and I am going to grab a piece of scratch paper because we're going to make this messy. So what I did here is years ago we carried Sizzix Big Z dies, so I actually had to go into something that we don't carry. So go into your stash, and whether it's a big circle you want to cut, I wanted the scallop edges, and we just had this. And what I cut these out of are our square vellum doily packaging. Okay, this is a little bit blurry. Nobody's told me. So let me see if I can fix that. We don't want blurry. It was blurry when it was on me. I discovered that I do have a focus. Oops. I think right in there is good. Yep, now we can see. So I took my Big Z die and I cut, it just barely fit. You'll notice that some of them are flat edges, but that's not going to matter because I need to stack these on top of one another. Now I've already done this one. So I cut 3 of the packaging, 1 cinnamon cider and 1 basic white. Okay, and so with these, I don't want to see the edges on the sides because I'm stacking them up to help as a base on the tree. To hold it up. I thought of doing our clear 2x2 boxes, and what I was going to do is I was going to open the lid up, cut that off, punch a hole in the center, and hot glue that halfway and stuff that with paper. And I thought, you know what, this I think would be so much cuter. So we're going with it, and we'll have to see how it comes out, right? So I am just taking this along the edges and just coloring those edges of that chipboard. And that it's just a little touch. You could also do this if you wanted in white. You could dip it with a Versamark or run it in the white craft and emboss if you wanted, would be another idea, because then you would not need the white piece, the basic white piece, because you could get this effect. I would do the top one this way, and then all the rest of them I would do white then. Okay, so we have that. Now the bottom, the very bottom one, I'm going to want this up. So I am just going to brush a little bit along the edges. So if any white shows up, it's not going to show. Okay, and that's just me. You wouldn't have to. Nobody really sees the bottom. You could do a piece of felt if you wanted, or another piece of cinnamon cider. Okay, we're going to do this one. We'll be done with this. I guess I should have done two of them, huh? But this takes just a minute. And really, I don't think this would take you that long to do. It's just going to be how long, what you want to decorate it with and stuff. And exactly, I mean, what you want to do, you could do as much or as little. But in our last house, we had all these little tiny places that I would want to stick decorations. And I would make little framed arts and little things like this tree today and just stick it in those little nooks and crannies in our house. And I'd also make things like this for our dining room table at for our meal at Christmas time, especially for the kids on the kids' table. I've always made theirs fun and whimsy. And our kitchen used to be done in gingerbread. Okay, so we have that done. The next thing we need to do is, oops, okay, Murphy's Law, there we go, is our peppermint patties. So I took our layering circle dies and I wanted them all scalloped. So I just went with the largest one for the bottom layer. I cut 3 of this layer out, okay, because I don't know if I want to do 3 layers or if I want to do 5 layers. So I just cut those out, and then the top one is this one. So these are your 3 layers that I cut out of cinnamon cider. Okay, then I needed a layer of white for the centers. So for the large one, which is this one, I use this one. And then I use this one for that neck size. And I believe I used it for the small. Yes, I did. So I used this for the medium layer, which is this layer here. And we're going to do something a little bit. So you're seeing what I punched out already. And then our small layer, which I've already done some stuff on it because I didn't want to bore you guys too much. So we use those. So we need to put some of those together and start working on those. So these peppermints are, the green ones were stamped with old olive and the red ones were punched right out of that red paper. But you're going to notice on these that the red has some green stripes and the green has some red stripes. How I accomplished that is our Stampin' Write markers very easily. So I started at the outside edge and came in along one side, just like this, and created a green and red because I didn't want to use all my paper, and this was one way of accomplishing what I wanted. And you know, if you did it different colors, you could do pink stripes, you could do pink, stamp it in pink and do red stripes. You know, you could do blue stripes. Just think of candy, purple stripes, have fun with it. I just stuck with the colors of the designer series paper. Just keep turning this around and do this. How many of you like doing fussy things like this? Okay, some of you don't like fussy cutting, and I bet that those are the ones that are going to tell me, nope, I don't like doing this. This is not for me. And that's okay if it's not for you. You wouldn't have to do this detail to it. You could just leave it as it is and just punch out or use the die cuts. These we're going to leave as is. And then on the small piece, we are using these little guys. I don't know, they kind of look like wheels or pepper, you know, like the star mints, I think they're called. Okay, so we have our peppermints done. So that is done. Next, I have some pieces of basic white, and I'm going to go ahead and do 2 extras. Although I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to stick with the 3 because I didn't cut enough peppermints out for 2 more layers. Ooh, lot there. So I'm taking my Wink of Stella. You could use our shimmer paper for this, but I wanted this really, really sparkly. So that's going to give it that extra sparkle. Okay, I'm just going to do one of those because I don't think I'm going to use that. So we have those ready and drying. We have our topper. Now we need to go to our layers. So our large layer, and for this I need my cinnamon cider marker, Stampin' Right marker, and a ruler. And this is a quilter's ruler. We used to carry it. I love it. I've got a couple of them. And I'm going to do this at a 1/4 of an inch, and I'm using the pen side, and I'm just going to draw lines. And this is going to make it look like it is a wafer cone, like an ice cream cone. What do you call that? Okay, what do you call those when you go to the ice cream store and you buy those that they make? They're not wafer cones. It's something like that. Do you guys know? Oh my gosh. Your mind goes too when you get older, right? And I'm just going to do these lines across, lining them up. I did the little one. I should have done 2 of them, I guess, because it would have taken less time. But my lighting is good for you guys, but my lighting for me working is not as good. Okay, now I don't want these cross-hatched. I want them at an angle, so I'm just going to move it just a little bit, line that up, and then do it at an angle and 1/4 inches again. Really quick. I can't even do the magic of TV like when I do my videos. You know, when I do this like on a video, I don't talk during this time and I make it go faster so it doesn't take as long. So I'm going to take a look at the comments while I'm doing this. Murphy's Law, sugar cone. Yeah, waffle cone. That's it, Janet. A waffle cone. That's it. That's what I was, wafer cone. Waffle cone. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, the smaller one is a sugar cone, and then those big ones are wafer cones. And so it would have been easier if I could die cut that and see. So how that gives that diamond effect, like a sugar cone or wafer cone. This next one won't take as long because it is smaller. So we're just going to do this. This is the, putting it together is going to be a little bit quicker. How many of you are confident with a drill, should I say? Oh, oh my gosh, my mind is like crazy today. It's going in 20 different directions, and they're different directions, so it's not faring me well today. My, yeah, that big punch thingy. Oh my gosh, I think I need to go to bed and start over. I will tell you, I don't drink caffeine. I find that when I drink caffeine, I'm up all night. And I went and I did a class last night, and I was drinking iced tea. And I had 3 glasses of iced tea. It tasted so good. Just, no sugar, just iced tea. Usually I drink lemon, but they didn't have lemon out. And I paid for it. I was up all night. I couldn't sleep. Okay, so we got that done. Easy peasy, right? Crocodile. That's it. My crocodile. Okay, before I put the white on here, I want to do one thing to this layer that we're going to use for the base. And that is, I told you, we're using a lot of stuff today. Okay, this is one of those days that you enjoy going into your craft stash and you just want to use everything that you have because your mind just goes crazy thinking of all the different things you could do. Now, I'm taking out our shimmer paste. Love our shimmer paste. And I should have put a thing of water over here, and I didn't. So I'm going to take our stencil, and I'm just going to try to line it up as close as I can, even. So this way, I'm making sure that in the inside of the scallop that's lined up even, and then this side has got 2 dots. It's good enough for me. Okay, it doesn't have to be an exact science, you guys. Let's get our spatulas out. Oh, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have fun cleaning this up later just because I didn't put water here. How many of you have trouble with your paste kind of drying up? I'm going to give you a little secret. I take my Stampin' Mister and I mist some water on top of it. I close it up with the lid and then I put it in a plastic bag and it stays good. Okay, I think that's going to be more than enough for us. So we're just going to spread this on, and this is going to be the base. And because it's got that shimmer, we're going to get, oops, a little, oh, that's not going to be perfect. That's okay, because you know what, if you're like me when I frost a cake, oh my gosh, what a mess. It never comes out perfect. So this is going to be like the frosting. And now I'm not doing this on the different layers. I'm going to show you something else that I did with it. But if you wanted, you could do this on the layers of your tree. Okay, like I said, I didn't. Okay, we're going to lift that up. You can see where I goobered up over here, where it lifted on me because I wasn't paying attention. I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool and kind of clean it off. Clean my Take Your Pick tool so you can clean it up. It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? Heck, I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect either. So this is where it really lifted. So let's just get that off. So, you know, life happens. There's no mistakes in stamping and creating, and you can always fix it when something happens. Okay, and we can put something on here to hide that. I think the rest of it looks pretty good. Got a little bit right here where it didn't cover. So let me just grab a little bit on your Take Your Pick tool and just fill it in. And all you do is kind of dab it on there. It'll be okay. No fret. So we need to set that aside to dry. And if we need to, we'll need to take our heat tool maybe later and just dry it, just like Diane did yesterday with her ink when she was embossing. You know, sometimes you can use those tools for other things also. Okay, so we've got that. Close that up. Done with that. Oh, you should see my workstation. I have a hot glue gun. I've got my drill. I've got all this stuff here. Okay, so let's go back to these layers. We are going to layer on our medium, our basic white. Okay, we're going to make sure we have enough glue on here, and I want to use the liquid glue, and we're going to eyeball this, and we're going to hope that we're pretty centered. So we're going to have that. So what that white is going to be, that's going to be the frosting. Now for the large layer, we've got a little bit larger circle. Okay. I want to get close to the edge because we are going to be rounding this out and we don't want it sticking up too far. So we're going to take that and we're going to put that on there. Really easy peasy. Rub it a little bit. I sometimes use this to rub it. Okay. Now we need our mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to put these two on here. Let's put our plate on there. Oh, I probably won't get both of them on there. So we'll cut one at a time. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball this. If you wanted, you could, I'll show you a way if you want to make sure it's centered. You can just take this and put it across this way. And we're just going to do a X. And hope that we hit the center lines. I can tell right there I didn't. I'm off one spot, but that's okay. I'll be able to eyeball that. I would probably take my paper trimmer and put this on and measure it. Now I know that this side half is a little bit bigger, so we're just going to put it over a little bit. And it'll be a-okay. Put that on. Let me get my top plate. Oops. Put that here. And I'm going to have to turn it so I can wind it through. So that also helps press that basic white paper on there. So it's on there pretty good. Okay. Okay, my plate is pretty cut up. Should get a new plate. Lift that off of there. And we have that center hole. Now that center hole does have to be a little bit bigger than 1/4 of an inch. I did try 1/4 of an inch. And when I was trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to use for my, I'm just eyeballing this one. What do I want to use for my trunk? And I thought, oh, you know what? I could use a dowel and wrap it in ribbon. And I thought, you know what? Okay, Judy, you're getting carried away. That's a little bit too much work and stuff for me. So I went through my stash of stuff that I have here. Not that I have much, you know, I'm kind of like you guys. We don't have much extra stuff, right? Okay, we've got that one. And I found these paper straws. Okay, I've got a whole bunch of them actually. And this is what I said, if you use some fun colors, you could use these for the stems. These is what I had in mind, was the red and white, but I don't think the red is red enough. So I am going with the snowflakes. So I needed to make sure that this would go through. And now you're going to say, well, that looks pretty big there, but we have another step here. Okay, so we have this. We need to take our paper snips and we're going to snip up to the center. Okay, on one side. Let's just stamp that up like that. Okay, and now we're going to start decorating. So I'm going to start, eventually what we're going to do is we're going to put this over, and I just forgot a step. Good thing I picked that one up. Oh, I have a pile here. Let me move some of this stuff. I'm going to get my white chalk marker, and it was here with my Stampin' Write markers. And oh my gosh, it was here. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way because we're not going to need it. And I have a pile. And if I don't find my chalk marker, we won't do this step. I can do it after I put it all together. Here it is. I knew I'd find it. You know, when you threaten that you're not going to use it, that's when you find it. So I'm going to take my chalk marker and I am just going to go around the edge just like this. And it doesn't have to be straight because it's going to be frosting. Okay, like the frosting edge. You could also roll this in your white craft ink or Versamark and dip it into white embossing powder. If you use white ink, you could use the clear, and then it would be another dimension. It just depends on how much work you want to do here. So you've got that edge. Let's get this one real quick. And this one's got bigger scallops, so I just move my marker down. I never color on the tip of my marker. I always color on the side. And we're just going to add that. And it's not going to stand out a whole lot here. Ooh, I've got glue there. Squirt it out when I cut that center hole. Guess I put it too far to the side. That's okay. We're just going to put an embellishment there. We will hide that. Okay, so we've got those done. Quick and easy, right? Quick step. Okay, now this is the big one. So we're going to put these peppermints on. So you're going to take your peppermints, and I'm already missing one. Okay, we'll find it. It's around here someplace. So we're going to put these on, and you could choose to put them up higher and some down lower. I am not going to put them in this area. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to put these here. So I'm kind of imagining this halfway. So halfway this way. I want to do a green and 2 red. And the other side, it'll be 2 green. And here it is. I told you we'd find it. And a red. Take your liquid glue once again. And, you know, you could even use the smaller peppermints if you wanted, you know. And how they would make them smaller is just use a smaller punch, you guys. You know, don't look for smaller circles necessarily. Just use a smaller punch. That's all it takes. Okay, get this one on. And you're basically going to do this for all of them. Okay, now I'm going to want to take this, fold it down, and fold it over. And I'm going to probably fold it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do 6 scallops. Okay, the more scallops you do, the smaller your circle. And I'm actually going to kind of bend this like this. So I need to make sure that those are on. Okay, so that is why I'm waiting to put the other 3 on, because I want to hide that seam when we go to put it together. So I'm going to take these 3 and put them over here. Get the medium. On the medium one, we're using these smaller peppermints right off of the thing. Once again, figure out the halfway mark. Put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, about. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. So, it's getting cold outside. Well, it's been cold outside. We were supposed to get snow this weekend, and now they're saying rain. So that's a good thing. We get that heavy snow, Diane. We get that heavy, wet snow. I would much rather have the light snow. Okay, I have 5 of those. So now we're going to go to the small one here and pick 2 green, I think, and a red. Let me see what I have. Turn this around. I have 2 red and a green. Same thing. I'm going to look at it halfway. Put this here, here, and here. It doesn't have to be exact. I like using my take your pick tool a lot of times to pick these up. I just kind of stab them. Green, green, and red. Okay, so I forgot to plug my hot glue gun in. So let me plug that in and make sure it's on. Okay, it is. Move my paste. Okay, we're going to start putting the base together. Okay, so we're going to glue these pieces together. And like I said, one is going to be for the bottom, and it's be facing up. I want to take my brush and go completely over it, just like that. Oh, and I did the wrong one. Where's the one that I colored? Okay, that's the one. So this one, I'm going to stack up this way. Okay, just like that. So we are just going to take our glue and glue that together. And don't forget, I said I just went and used our blending brush for that, just so that if it doesn't quite line up, it doesn't stick out because it's white underneath. Okay, oops. Don't press too much because then you wiggle it. I gotta get that back again. Okay, just hold that down. I am moving that wiggle room. Okay, so we have that. So now what I want to do is I want to take my white, okay, and I'm going to put glue on it. Oh, I have one of my hairs. I shed a lot, my husband says. I do. I'll admit it. Now with this one, I want to line this up with the scallops. Okay, we're just going to put that on. It's okay if it's a little bit of brown because this is going to be frosting. Just like that. Now we're going to stick on another one of these chipboards. And you're probably wondering, why are you doing it so thick? Why are you using so many? Well, the reason is because I want the straw to go in the middle and it to stand up. Now, when I put this on, I don't want the scallops to match. I actually want them to go in between. So this is going to actually kind of make it look like a circle. And you're probably going, Judy, you could have just done a circle underneath. Yeah, I could have, but it's still the detail, okay, from the side. Okay, we have that. So I'm just going to push that down real quick. Just like that. Okay. Drill time. So I do want to know where the center is on this one. So I am going to take my ruler again. And I am going to go across, but I'm going to count. So if I go from here to here, I'm going to count how many scallops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's the center that way. So this is, let's go in this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So I have that, and I want to make, no, on my camera, good. I was on something. I'm trying to move it because I could feel that I was on something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I moved it over. 11. 11. Okay, my circle is 3.5 inches. So I know 1.5, 1 3/4 is the center. So I am just going to mark that with my take your pick tool. Okay. Now, I was hoping, I'm going to grab, believe it or not, I am going to grab one of my mats. I just don't want to drill into my self-healing mat. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my drill, put the tip there, and I'm just going to drill down the center. What would your husband say? Hon, I need the drill. For what? Oh, I'm paper crafting. What? He thought his stuff was safe. No, it's not. Okay, I went into that a little bit, but that's okay. I clean that off. I probably will go and put a piece on the bottom. Now my straw is going to fit in just like this. And it is tight because of the paper fibers. Okay, but that's going to hold it. You want it tight. You don't want it loose. So we're going to take our glue gun and we're going to add some hot glue to that. Just a little bit. As you can tell, you're going to be able to tell is the prep is, where's my silicone mat at? Oh, I just had it out here. Oh, I think it's on, oh, there it is. Get my silicone mat out for hot glue. Had the snowman from a video the other day, didn't put it away. So that stands up nice and straight, just like that. Now we have this. And I forgot to put it on. So I'm going to hope and pray that I get it in the center. See if I can get this out. Oh, you know, it's not always easy to redo things with hot glue, but I'll be able to do it. Let's get this on there. We need to glue this on. It is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to grab my heat tool, and I'm going to use it on the low setting. And I think I have enough cushioning above my, I'm going to use on the high setting, above my self-healing mat. I have used this and actually kind of warped it a little bit. So Diane was very smart yesterday in making sure that she didn't get too much heat on there. This right here is a little bit thicker. Okay, it's pretty dry. I'm just not going to touch it much because I don't want to take any more of your time up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put our liquid glue on here, and we're going to match up the scallops. And I just want to make sure that it's glued down on the side of my scallops. So with just a little bit of glue, let's match those up. So how many of you were thinking and didn't tell me, Judy, you forgot the layer? Okay, let's hope that this is centered. I am going to go from the back. Okay, I don't want my silicone mat. Okay, so there's a pretty centered, huh? I'm impressed. I usually don't get it that dead on, especially when I eyeball. So let's stick this back in here. Okay, so we have that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our bigger layer, our biggest layer, that's going to go. And like I said, this is going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers here. So I am going to bend this up for just a minute. I'm going to put some liquid glue on here, and we're going to hold that. Now, what we're going to do next, is we're going to press that down a little bit, okay? And just kind of curve those pieces. While we're holding that, we're going to go ahead and put the other 3 pieces on, or even it might be 2 pieces. I don't know. Like I said, so we want 2 green ones. So we want these 2 first, and put it kind of a little bit closer, I think. And then we can get that red one. Did you see how that hot glue stuck there? No worries. We'll get that unstuck. That's our silicone mat. So we're going to put the red one on first, and then we're going to center them between these 2. So that's going to be continuous. The back is a little bit crammed more than the front, but that's okay. You're not going to see both sides at the same time. We want to go over that layer, and that's why I didn't put them on before. Okay, so we're now going to take it and squeeze it so that's half, but don't do a definite fold. It's just a roll, okay, kind of like rolling it over your finger. Okay, we're going to figure out where we want it on here, and that hole is a little bit big, so we're going to go ahead and put some hot glue. So I've decided that I want it about right here. I said hot glue, I grabbed my drill. So we're going to go ahead and put this hot glue around, and we don't want it to drip down like it's doing, so we need to let it cool a little bit. I'm going to actually turn my gun down because I have it on high. I'm just going to let that set a minute and just keep rolling it around till it hardens just a little bit. We don't want it completely cooled. We're going to put this down on there and squeeze it just a little bit. So that's going to hold it. Now that we're going to have to hold it until it dries a little bit. But are you guys getting the idea? Wait until I finish it up with the extras. So, have I lost anybody yet? Okay, so that's on there, and we're going to let it cool just a little bit yet. I don't want to rush this. Okay. Then, along the top, I can put some more hot glue and hold that on there. You're not going to see that, you guys, so don't fret. Okay, so that's going to hold it. Just hold it with your finger just a little bit. I'm going to lean it here on my tray while that's drying, and we're going to go to the next layer. Our next layer is the medium one. We've got those 3 on. So now we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over. Okay. Just kind of bend it where you want it a little bit. We're going to put some liquid glue on there. So this is just repeating what we did. And I am going to go ahead, before we put this layer on with the hot glue, I'm going to go ahead and I usually have here, I have a clip here. I usually use our little mini clips that we sell. So I'm just going to take this clip and hold it there. So that holds while we do the little one. We're going to go ahead and put some glue here. This is going to be the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. So you want to make sure that those scallops line up. And you're going to notice that this hole is a little bit smaller. This was the 1/4 inch hole. Actually, it was a little bit bigger. And that's because you are going to see that top hole. Okay, so while that one is sitting there, I'm going to unclip this one and clip this one. And we're going to go ahead and finish our decorations on this one with our glue. So we'll put one here. We'll put 5 on this one because it is smaller. Okay, just going to stick those on there. Oop, that one's a little bit closer. That's okay. We're not going to see the back also. Whoops. Okay, let me grab these guys, see how many we're going to do on the little one. So we have 2 red and a green left. This should be dry enough. You could use your hot glue on this also. So we want a red. We're going to do 6 just because we have red and green again. And just kind of center them by eyeballing them. Huh, my fingers are full of glue. Just like this. Okay, how many of you are thinking, this is way too much work? Be honest, let me know. Okay, so we have that. We're going to go ahead and do our hot glue. We are going to take this. We want all the backs in the same direction. So once again, we're going to roll this over our fingers, just like that, so the scallops meet. Let's put this one on. And that's going to go right there. Our hot glue. It shouldn't be as hot right now. Let that cool off. I think what you could do if you wanted is you could mark where you want to put these. And then put a dab of glue on there. Now you don't want it to cover completely over that, but you do want it to overlap just a little bit. I'm going to hold that there, and I'm going to put some more glue here. And like I said, the top layer is going to fit tighter, thus the smaller hole. I used a 1/4 inch punch for that and just kind of punched it twice so it would fit. Now we want to make sure that our bent part lines up. Okay, see how it's starting to form here? While that is cooling off, I'm going to go ahead and grab my 2 snowflakes, and we are going to glue this part and this part. We're not going to do the top, but we're not going to glue down here because we want that to slide over the top of that straw. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry. And I guess if you wanted, you could use hot glue for it all, but I don't want this coming apart. later down the road. So that's why I'm using our multi-purpose glue. Put those together. I'm going to take another straw, make sure I have a pocket there, because I do not want to glue that together, because that would the purpose of leaving that like that be totally eliminated. Okay, you could use 2 clips, one on each side to hold that. We're going to go ahead and hold that side. This is pretty dry. I'm not touching it at all. Okay, I'm just holding those just like that, just to make sure. Okay, I'm going to set something on it, put that to the side. Okay, so we have that one is dry. So this one, like I said, is going to fit tight, but see, it does fit. So I'm just going to slide it on there. And this is going to go on like this. And I want the back in the back. And this up just a little bit so we don't see that. Okay, so it's going to go about right there. Keeping my eye on that snowflake, right about that snowflake there. So I'm just going to take a dab of hot glue, okay, because it does fit tight, so you don't need much. You're just going to need it to hold it on there in case any of the littles get to it. So we have that, and it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. Okay, this is going to fit on the top. Now, do we have to trim that down? Yes. So I'm going to want to trim it down about 1 inch. So I am going to take my craft and rubber scissors and about 3/4 of an inch, or maybe a little, about 1 inch. Put that like that. Let's see how that fits over. Nope, a little bit more because I wanted to overlap the top there. Okay, so I'm going to put it on. Just want to hold it like that. So that is so far. Now what we can do is I'll move my hot glue gun. We're done with the hot glue. And don't you just love how this makes it look like icing, and this looks like it's a little bit, I think this is just so adorable. But you can take, let me take my, put my glue away. And now, like I said, I have a mirage of different embellishments to use to put on this. You know, this looks like these are, this one is our From the Heart faceted gems. These would have to be glued on, so I'm not going to do those right now. I will take a picture of this when I have it completely done, but put some of those on here. Okay, my fingers are sticking to this. I have to clean my fingers off. Let's take some of the red rhinestones. We can put some of those on. So we can put those on our red candies. Just like this. I am being careful because some of this is still a little bit wet. Put it in the center. I am going to be putting some items up here on the frosting also. Let's get, we have some green ones here. This is from the holiday rhinestones. Don't forget about those, you guys. We'll put these on these. I put them on all. The bottom are just going to be green. I'm not going to be real picky about this right now. Green like this. We have some sequins, different colored sequins. These are our Artistry Bloom sequins. Oh my gosh, I hope those are still in the catalog. I think they are. They were in my current catalog stuff. So take some of these, put them up on top. You're not going to see all these all the time, but you are going to see at times, depending on how it is setting, you will see these sequins also. let's just stick. Oh, let me get this little one down here. I got a little light blue one down here. I'm trying not to press too hard because it is the hot glue still isn't completely dry. Okay, so you get the idea. Let's use, I even have some of our matte decorative dots, and let's make the top different colors. So we're going to go with the yellow. Okay, my stuff is not sticking here. Okay. Do one of those up there. Do blue one. Just make it fun and festive. Okay. Murphy's Law. It is stuck inside there. Let me squirt this. I'm almost out of putty. I did order some, and it's on my order that's coming. Let's just get some of these on here. It's kind of hard when you only have two hands. Usually I would probably do this sitting down. That way I could hold it between my legs. Put this one up here. So you guys get the idea. Just sprinkle it with items. Okay, so do you want to see what my inspiration looks like? Okay, I'm going to flip my camera around again. I'm not going to take the time to decorate it. I will take a photo of it though. So my inspiration piece, and this is my Christmas tree, you guys, is this right here. And it is really close. Let me see this way. So this is down the bottom, and see how, oh, I have a bag here. See how the bag has some, like the bottom has some icing. We have this, we have different candies and the peppermint patties and the frosting, chocolate frosting here, and it's covered in glitter. And the top is just a star with a little peppermint patty. So I don't want to keep you any longer today. Thanks so much, you guys. And I will post a picture in about 15 minutes when I finish this up. So until next time, everybody, happy stamping. Bye-bye.